the Super Bowl.
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome on to another edition here of the Patriots Touchback Podcast. It is me, your host, Carl. I am joined by only one of my fellow three amigos today. It is, of course, our pessimistic leprechaun. It is Luke O'Brien. Luke, good to see you, sir. Hope you are doing well.
Doing good, thanks, Carl.
Good. Obviously, DJ, he's had something come up, and Nick is down with the bug, down with the illness, or was disturbed, down with the sickness. So we wish him all the best. Before we get cracking on, guys, remember, please make sure you hit the like on the video. You hit the subscribe button when you're at it. Follow us on all our social media platforms. Tell all your friends. Follow us on Spotify as well. And let's get this over and done with, shall we? It is, of course, Giants versus Patriots preview, the Tank Bowl edition, because, of course, this is the ultimate Tank Bowl. Let's not beat around the bush here. These are two teams who they're at the top end of the draft for a pick, because ineptitude on offense is the name of the game here when it comes to both these teams. Put it this way, the Patriots, points per game, they average just over 14. Yards per game, they're tied for 26th in the NFL. The Giants, not much better, 13.5 points per game, and they're dead last in yards per game as well. This is two teams, both offensively, we've got a quarterback who looks like has lost all confidence and is pretty much outdone with us. And now the Giants are hanging on to a third stringer, which I would probably find is who sounds like one of the waiters out of the Godfather films. I could be wrong. Luke, what's your assumption with this game coming up? Because it's not. There's so many good games because of Thanksgiving and so on, and yet we are previewing. One of the probably worst game.
It is the worst game.
It is the worst game.
Just to start off with, I think you could be looking at a situation where you have the Giants have a starting quarterback of Tommy DeVito and a backup of Matt Barkley, and it's a better quarterback situation than what the Patriots have. If DeVito goes down, I'd probably take an old and finished Mac Barkley over Zappi and Mac Jones. I'm not sure who's going to start. The rumors are, or the leader in the clubhouse at the moment seems to be Mac Jones, to be the starter, but that is just reading tea leaves rather than based on any real facts. They've both been getting equal reps in practice. It does kind of lead you to think that they are. The way I put it is, if they were thinking that Mac Jones is done, which I think they should do at this point, you take a guy out in the most important drive of the game, you game on the line, and you take out your starting quarterback, basically saying, you can't do this. You're not good enough. To then kind of have him still be the starting quarterback the next game, or at least seem to be in the running to be the starting quarterback for the next game, just seems a bit strange to me. I would have thought it would have been, Mac, you're now down to third choice quarterback. You're the emergency quarterback. And you just go with Zappi and you give Greer maybe 10% of the reps just to kind of see where he is. It doesn't seem anybody calling for Will Greer, which is kind of what I was doing last week, just the great unknown, really, in a Patriots uniform. That doesn't look like it's going to happen this week anyway. It looks like it's either Zappi or Mac. I think Mac seems to be slightly edging it according to reports at the moment, but outside of that, I don't know.
No, it just, as we said, with our quarterback situation, it is basically sort of, we know Mac Jones is done. Bailey's happy. We know it's not good enough. Will Greer's already said is a complete unknown. And then there is Blake Cunningham, who is on the practice squad. I don't think he's even played with the first team reps. So
we have to consider him a wide receiver, like until otherwise shown, because he played wide receiver mostly in camp. So he is there as a wide receiver / special teams / emergency quarterback. He's not a realistic option to ever start a game at quarterback, other than some type of, like, he could go in as a gadget kind of thing, but we also how that went when they did actually put him in.
Yeah, Tom Cohen basically said the way Belichick is handling the quarterback situation for this particular game, like saying that everyone needs to be prepared, everyone needs to be ready to go, and that sort of thing. Tom Cohen basically described it as just basically embracing the chaos. We probably as fans refer to reshuffling the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic, which it probably ain't sinking. It's probably 2/3 sunk now. So it's just an absolute mess from the quarterback situation. But then saying that, the Giants quarterback situation is not exactly rosy, is it? So Daniel Jones is out for the season with an injury. He's done with. Tyrod Taylor seems to be. I'm gonna put this out there right now. Tyrod Taylor is the most. I think someone put a voodoo on him when he was still in high school, because I think ever since he's gone into the NFL to play quarterback, he just cannot.
He can't
catch a break. He can't catch a break at all.
Now, I don't think he's a good quarterback, but I also think that, like, he has become injured or gotten injured in a variety of ways at the most inopportune times. He's a guy. He's a very good backup quarterback. He's a high-end backup quarterback, but he is a backup. He's not somebody that should ever be challenging for your starting role. If he's challenging for your starting role, then you don't have a quarterback. This is my feelings on Tyrod, but I do like him, and he seems like an absolutely fantastic human being as well, by all accounts.
Yeah, I personally, he gets harshly treated, Tyrod Taylor, but unfortunately when he's in, for me, I think he is a competent backup QB, not a starter. He's a backup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we move on to Danny DeVito. A fun story. A very, very fun story with this guy. And when he first came in, he looked like a deer in the absolute headlights. You had to watch the Dallas game to see how out of place he looked, you could probably say. But then last week, he goes and puts up a performance which is actually pretty substantial. DeVito, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I had 137.7 pass rate. And it was against Washington, who don't have a pass rush. Just be real. They let go of Young and Sweaty a while back, so that's done and dusted with. But this is still a rookie at the end of the day, and a very unknown rookie. And he's gone in and put 246 on Washington. That's actually really, really good going. However, I was watching that game with a smile on my face, because I'm like, you're destroying your tank in New York. What the hell are you doing? Do you not want Khalid Williams or Drake May? Are you sure about this?
Yeah, and this is the thing that, like, the thing about tanking is that, like, it's tanking is done by the general manager, not the coaches. It's. Yeah, and you're right, James. Only if Tyra can stay fit. That's very true.
100%.
But yeah, it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see now what. I lost my train of thought. It's gone. It's gone. Apologies. Where.
You're struggling there.
I was struggling. Sorry.
No, because look, Washington defense is not that particularly great, but as I've stated, when you're a rookie, if you throw over 200 yards on an NFL defense in your rookie season, that is still, that's something you can't really turn your nose up at. The only way you can do that is if you throw a touchdown, but you also throw 2 or 3 picks at the same time. Then it does water it down in a sense.
Yeah,
but he's done really well. Go on.
Sam Howell turned the ball over 6 times. That was what I was trying to say.
Yes.
He got a lot of opportunities to make plays. He got the ball in decent situations, but at the same time, he made the plays that he needed to make. He got the win. It was, as you said, a good time to be a Patriots fan. We didn't lose a game. We didn't win a game either because we weren't playing. But it was interesting to see as well, because I wasn't too sure what the Cardinals would do either. With Kyler, it seems to be like they're still all in on having Kyler as well. So being their starting quarterback, and that takes another kind of team out of the tank race for you, because realistically they're going
Not
to
quite. I mean, it's not. No, I wouldn't go that far. If the Patriots beat the Giants, guess what? We're then pushed out the tank race, same with the Giants. So it's not exactly.
But I just don't think that, I don't see us winning another game this year. This is the only game that we could accidentally win.
Not the Jets.
The Jets, Aaron Rodgers could be back for that game. And I'm kind of one of those things, I don't like believing the hype or anything like that, but I think he could be back for that game. I don't like getting too up or too down on these types of things, but it's a possibility. Going back to my one of the original points before I lost my train of thought there for the lovely dead air for a good few seconds. The tanking, going back to tanking is done by the GM, and the coaches will always be trying to put out the best team that they can and trying to win the game on any individual game. They're not going to try and pull guys out so that they don't win. They're not going to tell the quarterbacks to throw interceptions. But what the GM will do is he will do what they've done in Washington: trade away Montez Sweat, trade away Chase Young. I would say, even if you look at the Colts, what the Colts did with Shaq Leonard during the week, that's not tanking. That is just somebody trying to lay down the law in a kind of first year head coach trying to basically lay down the law with the locker room, a guy that was giving out and about playing time and had seemingly lost a few steps and hadn't been playing well out the door. So that's separate. But going into a game, I think you're going to win. You're, as a coaching staff, you're trying to win the game.
You're trying to, but as again, it says so on the GM as well, which is of course Bill Belichick, or some people would say no, because Matt Rule is the de facto GM. I beg to differ. Really. Let's go through for some breakdown, shall we? So let's start. We'll start with New England, shall we? Because we need to go through this. So we've already talked about our points per game, our yards per game. It's atrocious, okay? It gets worse, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So during the passing game, we have a 77 rate, which is tied 26th in the NFL. 6.1 yards per attempt. That's tied 26th in the NFL. We're rushing under 4 yards per carry, which is terrible. And the passing attack is averaging less than 200 yards per game. The defensive side of the ball does seem good, and then it turns pretty shit afterwards, because the Pats hold running backs to 3.5 yards per game, tied second in the NFL. We're very good at stopping the run. Very good at stopping the run if it's straight up the gut. Yes. However, when it comes to coming out of the backfield, so basically, like when we had James White passing out of the backfield, when you got someone like prime example Washington, Antonio Gibson he gets a couple passes catch out of the backfield. The Pats give up a 97.5 rating, and they allow running backs out the backfield, which is ranked 21st in the NFL, which basically is not good at all. So if you stop the run straight at us, great, fine. But as soon as you start pass it to the running back, it starts becoming a problem, especially going out wide, because we don't have the defense to block the oncoming line.
I agree, and it's one thing. I think it's our strongest position on the team at the moment is our run stuffing ability, and not so much just because the stats tell you that that's the case, but you look at the players that we have there. There's been some money invested in there and some draft picks, and you can see it as well on the field. You've got Guy and Godshaw. Barmore has come on a lot, and I think Keon White has done pretty well in bits and pieces.
He has, but considering we have no pass rush, because our pass rush is Matt Judon with 4 sacks, and guess what? No one has even got close to that number yet. It's embarrassing.
Exactly, but just staying on the stuff in the run, like you got Dietrich Wise, you got Anthony Jennings. These are all guys that are run stuffing specialists. So it stands to reason, and they've, as a group, they've remained fairly healthy as well for the year. I think the only person that we really lost was Daniel Aquale, who's more of a pass rushing third down defensive tackle rather than a nose tackle like Godshaw. So it is it's at least we have something to hang our hat on, because I think the defensive backs is a bit of a house of cards for us. We've talked about it in the past. Once we lost Gonzalez, and you kind of shuffled all the players up the depth chart, you kind of saw, you're like, Jack Jones wasn't all that good. JC Jackson has been, off the boil a bit. We lost Marcus Jones. Jonathan Jones is a slot corner. That's where his strength is. When he gets put outside, he's okay, but he's not Jonathan Jones, the slot corner. It's a different guy. We've seen then, guys like Sean Wade, who, God love Sean Wade, but he tries, but he's not at the ability of a starting NFL corner, which is what he's been asked to do at times this year. So at least we can hang our hat on the run stuffing part. Going then to your next point, Carl, which was the pass rushing. I can't disagree with you. The pass rushing has been absolutely abysmal. Matthew Judon has been out since October. He had 4 sacks, and nobody's passed him out yet.
No. One person who the Patriots are going to have to keep an eye on in this game is, of course, pass rusher of the Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau. He's having a stellar year. He is 10.5 sacks of the season. He's had a forced fumble and 31 tackles. If you look at it, but the Giants have only had 19 sacks all season. So basically, the Giants have the same problem as us. You got a pass rush. His name is Kayvon Thibodeau, and without him, you're not sacking anybody. So, like us, without Judon, we ain't sacking anybody. It's one of those things. But he's having an absolute stellar year. I've loved Thibodeau coming out the draft. I thought this guy is going to goes to the right team. He's going to be an absolute beast.
Yeah.
For the New York Giants, it's a little bit hit and miss right now, but the way he's going about himself, he's doing really, really decently. Mm-hmm. Let's have a little bit more on the Giants, okay? So, we talked about the Giants, okay? So they're dead last in points per game, dead last in yards per game, okay? That's not me waffling. That's absolute fact. However, in their last 2 games against Arizona and Washington, they have dropped 31 points. But their third down conversion is second worst in the NFL, 31st. They are ranked 30th in red zone, and they are ranked 32nd in sacks. Basically, they give up the most sacks in the NFL, which is embarrassing considering I thought Washington's O-line was just as bad. So,
like the funny thing is, it's gonna be our our worst against their worst, which I think I said in the Colts preview as well, about 2 position groups. But it's going to be our worst, which is our pass rushers against their tackles. If our pass rushers have any designs on doing anything or getting anything out of this season, this is going to be the game to do it. This is the weakest offensive line they'll play outside of the one that they play in practice. So Josh Uche has been completely anonymous this year. I kind of feel last year was a bit of a red herring, I think, because he played well in bits, but a lot of his sacks were kind of mop-up sacks, or Judon was the guy forcing the pressure, and Uche was the guy that brought the quarterback down. Like they were pushing the offensive line were doubling, we'll say, Judon, or they were shifting the protection to Judon, and Uche was there on the side, picking it up, because before his first 2 seasons, we'd seen absolutely nothing from Uche. And then suddenly he exploded last year with, I think, was it 9 or 10 sacks? And he's done absolutely nothing this season. And he's been fit, healthy, available, and really, really can't seem to they seem to prefer Anthony Jennings, even though Anthony Jennings is a poor pass rusher. He is a very good run stuffer. And Dietrich Wise on the other side, who again is not known for his pass rushing abilities. He had a bit of a spike in sacks last year, but realistically, his job is a kind of 5 technique over the tackle, rather than playing outside as a 7 or a wide 9 or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, they're tied 27th in sacks. QB hits, they're tied 25th. So they can't get to the quarterback as much. They can't get pressure on the quarterback. If there's one game that, if it is Mac Jones that's going to start, if there's one game where Mac Jones has got to prove that he can still do it at the NFL level, it's in this game.
Mm-hmm. The thing I worry about for this game for Mac is that you have Dexter Lawrence, who is one of the best interior pass rushers in the NFL. He's paid like it, and he's a nose tackle nearly as much as a defensive tackle, and he will be looking at Cole Strange and licking his lips. And he will be, so when Mac Jones steps up from Thibodeau, he'll be stepping up into a collapsing pocket from the interior, and that interior will be Dexter Lawrence making that shove. Like I said, they're not getting to the quarterback a lot, but I would imagine that Lawrence is collapsing pockets a lot, and that's might not work so much against a mobile quarterback, but against a statue like Mac Jones, that they'll get sacks. I feel like they will in this game.
Yeah, definitely. If there's one glimmer of hope that the Patriots do have, it will be with the running backs. It will be with Ramondre Stevenson, and it will be with Ezekiel Elliott. So the Giants, they've allowed 4.6 yards per carry to running backs, which is basically tied 28th, fifth worst in the NFL. New England seem to, with their rushing attack, they seem to do really well in that only part of the offense. Now, this will be down to the line. I also believe as well, right guard Sidney So over the last 3 games, he is starting to prove why he's a good player. One of the highest, again, another very, very high grade from Pro Football Focus. I mean, you could take that authorization with a pinch of salt. But if we can utilize this running game, then it would help us so much in the trenches regarding how our offense can then work to the receivers, to Hunter Henry, to Mike Gesicki. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a boring game because I don't see it being high scoring. Or I mean, big up to the New York Giants podcast, Big Blue UK and Ireland. Actually, some of their lads are over in New York right now because they've got tickets for the game. I feel so sorry for you, but go have a brilliant time and have a lot of beers. They've got a meet up on, I think it's either Friday or Saturday. So please go and see them at whatever establishment they're going to be at. But they made predictions of they basically predicted the Giants win. Let's just be real. They've done that, but it's all like in the 20s and the 30s. And I'm scratching my head watching the stream, and I'm just going, I don't see this being high scoring at all. I mean, I could be looking at something completely different here. But I'm going to go with my prediction. I think we are going to lose this game, but it's going to be I think it's going to be the same sort of game that we went to see at Frankfurt. I think it's going to be that sort of game. I think there is going to be at least 2 touchdowns. One from either team. Probably Patriots will end up scoring one in garbage time because that's us. And I'm going to say Giants beat the Patriots 13-10.
Yeah, that's a good score. I was going to go for a 18-15. I think is what I'll go for. Got a bit of a mad score.
You go for Scorigami, aren't you?
Yeah.
So DJ's gone 13-10 as he just 13-10. So he basically stole my bloody thunder. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, he said Pats. You're saying Giants, are you?
Oh, did you say 13-10 Pats? I said 13-10 Giants. Okay, my apologies for that.
And then going Giants. I'll keep it more realistic. I think it'll be 14-10.
You go 14-10, right? Okay, This is okay.
But we're really all in the same ballpark here.
14-10 Giants, you mean?
Yeah. I think we're all in the same ballpark here, really. To be honest, just something I want to touch on as well is the Patriots special teams have been absolutely abysmal. You have 2 guys running the special teams in Joe Judge and his name escapes me, but they're both been Cam Acord. There we go.
Cam Acord, yeah.
They've both been special teams coordinators in the NFL. Joe Judge has been a head coach, terrible head coach, but a head coach nonetheless. He fooled the Giants into thinking that he was good enough to be head coach. And to be honest, when he was a special teams coach with the Patriots, our special teams was very good. There's no doubt. And outside of that, Brendan Schooler blocked field goal a few weeks ago. Not only are we missing kicks, which do you put that on the coaches? Really, I think you put missing kicks down to the holder, the snapper, and the kicker. Really, it kind of comes down to less so coaching, but the decisions to return kicks and not get much yardage, the ability to cover kicks and punts has been poor. Bryce Baringer at times has hit kind of wayward punts or outkicked his coverage. I was watching him in warm-ups and he has an absolute cannon of a leg, but once or twice he's allowed returns by just booming it. Even the other day, I kind of, at the start I saw it and then I was kind of like, I don't know, when the Patriots went to try to do a block punt and they did a max, they threw all 11 guys at the Colts to do a punt block, put no returner in, and the Colts were on their own 20. And what the Colts did, apparently, and this is, I think one of the players was interviewed after, and they said, well, what did you see in that play? We saw that, when we're in this situation, we're going to try the punt block. But then they audibled into they switched the protection, and it kind of neutralized what we were going to do. And it's
so
kind of like,
so that was basically that was basically Joe Judge's fault then, but
yeah, I mean, there should have been an alternative situation. If we do the punt block, it's a very obvious thing for the punter, or it's usually the personal protector who is calling, who's adjusting the line. And it's a very obvious thing to kind of go, right, they've gone, there's no returner back there. We'll shift the thing. We'll shift the blocking to the overload side. As the Patriots, you should have an alternative play call, right? You should have an audible, right? If they go do this, we need to audible one of the players back in, even if he's sprinting backwards, as the ball is kicked, to try and even field the ball at some point, or even get there before the ball dribbles forward. Because in the end, it resulted in a swing of about 60 yards, I think, because we ended up going from their 20 to our 20, and we had good field position. If we just let them punt, realistically, we'd have got the ball back at our own 40, or even at halfway.
Yeah,
we keep the pressure on.
We saw that in the Colts game, didn't we? Was the punt where there's no one in returning the punt, and I was like,
yeah, that was it.
Where's our returner? Where's he gone? And we saw the ball, like, okay, and it just had bounced and bounced and bounced, and it bounced all the way into our 15, into our own 15.
It's 15, yeah.
And it's like, how? If you return it, you're correct. We probably would have. At worst, we probably would have ended up at our own 35. At best, we could have ended up midfield or even into their territory. And then you've only got a short field of gain then. To, if we're so inept on offense we can't get into the red zone, then at least try and kick a field goal. Although, with that being said, though, Chad Ryland did miss a field goal in that game. That would have been 10-9. So,
chip shot.
Hashtag just saying. Right, got a couple of questions here. So DJ's put, can see us going with Mac this week, and this could be his last if he fails. More than likely. But I think he's failed already. I think they're just trying to do this now to cough their nose to spite their face now. We know Bailey Zappi is a watered down version of Mac Jones. You don't need to say that, and he's shorter. Will Greer, he never got a good run in at Carolina, did he? He never got a good chance. So,
but it's one of these things as well. Like, did he get a good chance, or was he just not good enough to deserve?
Was he not good enough? Yeah, that's why he got drafted so low. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was like
he was a fourth rounder, I think, off the top of my head.
So same as Bailey Zappi, basically.
Third rounder.
Okay. Slater hasn't been able to captain this special teams. It's all but lost. I think if Slater retires at the end of the season, then you will have to really revamp the special team side of things, which I think he retires at the end of this year. Yeah, I think he will as well. I think he'll look at that and he'll go. I think if Belichick gets fired or gets traded, I think he may just go out the door, and then that's it. That's the last. You could say that's the last final stone to fall in the Patriots dynasty of everything that's happened.
No.
Oh,
Joe Cardona.
The long snapper. The long snapper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, I get your point though. Like I think Slater will do something similar to what Devin McCourty did. Devin McCourty kind of went, I can play another year, but why? Why am I playing? We're not going to win it. We're not going to win the Super Bowl. And at his age, he was like, oh, I would only be playing to win a Super Bowl, and I kind of don't want to play anywhere else. So Slater is not going to play anywhere else. So I'd assume he's not going to want to play anywhere else. Me and Matt Slater are texting each other all the time, and he tells me these things. No, I'm just assuming, of course. But yeah, what annoys me a lot about the special teams is that we invested high draft picks in Chad Ryland and Bryce Baringer, relatively speaking, from from a specialist point of view. We brought in specialist Chris Board. You have Cody Davis. You have Brendan Schooler. You have Adrian Phillips now, who has kind of become he's very much the kind of fourth or fifth safety, so he doesn't play a whole lot really, and he plays on special teams. You have Slater, of course, and you also have Ty Montgomery, who are all kind of limited to who only play special teams, and even Marte Mapu, who we know he's not been drafted to be a special teams player, but that seems to be the only reps that he's getting on the field, and that's all they're doing. And when you invest that much in your roster, in terms of spots in your roster, and you put such an emphasis on it, and for it to be so bad, and it's kind of like on paper that should be a really good special teams unit. I'll put the specialists to one side because rookie specialists tend to be very kind of up and down, and it's usually, especially for kickers, very rare that you get a kicker straight out of the gate being very good. You look at Koo with the Falcons, he had to say that
Evan
again.
Evan McPherson for Cincinnati.
He's kind of decent out of the gate, but Koo was poor for he bounced around a bit before he kind of got good.
He had to go to the USFL. He had to go to the USFL before he got back into the NFL. So
it kind of happens with specialists. I put them to one side, but the amount of other resources that are on the team for special teams and for us to not be good in coverage is a sin.
I mean, this is Bill Belichick's wheelhouse at the end of the day. He started off as a special teams coordinator when he first started out. This is his wheelhouse. How does he not know that? I mean, I know it's down to Joe Cam and Orchid, but for goodness sake, come on. We made our predictions. Yeah, this is going to be this game's going to be a war crime. It will be a war crime. If this goes into OT, I think Israel should just nuke the stadium for the greater good, because it's going to be two inept offenses that even the USFL would find a very poor taste. You know, Our punishment is going to be severe. Our spirits are going to be broken in this game. The only way we're going to be celebrating is if we win. Either we're winning and we're celebrating, and we realize, oh no, we've fallen down the board, or we're upset, we've lost again, but then we realize we're still in the Khalid Williams, we're still in the Drake May, we're still in the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes. So it's called pick your poison with this team now. It is pick your poison.
I'll do my usual. I will want us to win for the 3 hours that the game is on. I want us to lose in the build-up and post-game. And that is my spiel, and I'm sticking to it. For the season.
Same.
And
Look,
one thing we can add on, I suppose, is the Thanksgiving games as well. We just don't forget people to watch Thanksgiving games this week.
Well, you've moved into that pretty nicely. So do you fancy having a bit of fun?
Go for it.
So we can't have any fun on this show because, of course, our team's terrible. But it is Thanksgiving. There is a Black Friday game as well. Yeah. I spoke to our boys, and DJ has sent me his predictions. So let's just go. Let's do some predictions, shall we? So
go for it.
The first of Thanksgiving games: Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Detroit. That's all I've got to say right now. They are playing unbelievably good. Good. And the Packers, starting to figure out a little bit without Aaron Rodgers. But I did say this to Packers fans after last season. I goes, you are going to go through the same teething pains as what we did when Brady left us. You're going to go through the same teething pains. And I got blocked by 7 different Packer accounts because they didn't like what I was saying, and now it's coming home to roost. What's your prediction for this game?
Lions.
You're going Lions?
I think the Lions were able to beat the Packers. They've had their number even the last few seasons, and that was with Rodgers. I think they'll handle their business against the Packers. The only thing is if they still have that bit in their DNA where, they don't. Can they win games that they're supposed to win? Because for such a long time we were they were anytime they were favorites for a game, then that's when they would lose. And they were such a hard team to predict. But I think this is a different line scene. I think they, as DJ is kind of saying there, hopefully if we change our head coach next year, that it is Mr. Ben Johnson of the Detroit Lions. But I also think that every team is going to be going for Ben Johnson next year as well. That is looking to move on from their head coach. Not saying that I haven't decided yet, but I think if you offer me Ben Johnson, I would kind of go, yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'd be if we have no Belichick, I'd take Johnson. That's
100%. So DJ's gone for a Lions win 28-14. What's your score prediction for the Lions win?
I think it'd be a bit closer. I think maybe 27-21.
Okay. Well, I'm taking the Lions win, but I'm going for an absolute brainstormer. I'm going 38-33 Lions. I think this is going to be one of those games where it's an NFC North rival, so they don't like each other. And Detroit are going to want to put one over the Packers on Thanksgiving. You can bet your bottom dollar with that. Nick will give us our predictions either later on tonight or probably tomorrow at some point. But anyway, okay. The mid-afternoon game, or rather the game everyone falls asleep to, because of course it is the Dallas Cowboys. They take on the Washington Commanders. Sam Howell, good luck. Micah Parsons is coming for your head. I've got Dallas winning this game. I can't see anything other than a Dallas win. However, saying that, there's two things I have. Washington are one of those teams where they don't, when they look bad, they look bad. But when they actually play half decently, they can give a good team a run for its money. Go back and watch the last time they played the Eagles. They literally went toe-to-toe with them. So they can do it. They literally can do it. And also, it's also this time of year now where Cowboys fans, they start getting in their feelings. They think they can now go on and win the Super Bowl with that and the other. And it's usually a Thanksgiving where the wheels start to fall off. And it usually happens every year. And this isn't me bashing Cowboys fans or my hatred for them. It's not. At the end of the day, somehow, some way, you will find a way to mess this up. Whether it's Dak Prescott, whether it's your defense, whether it's Mike McCarthy, whoever it is, or Jerry Jones for that matter, you will find a way to screw it up. And this is one of those games where Dallas, the last few Thanksgiving games, have been putrid. The Buffalo game, I think it was either last year or 2 years ago, that was atrocious. The Raiders game, when they played on Thanksgiving, that was atrocious. So I'm going to say Dallas win this, but I'm going to say it's going to be a close one. And I'm going to say 31-28 Dallas.
Okay. I think Dallas are good this year. Are they the pick of the NFC? Not quite, but I think they're in that next tier as well. Just below the 49ers and the Eagles. And they're kind of in there, I'd say, with the Lions. They're a good team. They're a good, solid team. I think this is one where I just have a gut feeling, that it's going to be something like Dallas 28 and the Commanders 13. I think the Dallas kind of got out to a bit of a lead, and it's kind of game over, really.
Okay, DJ has gone for 31-10 Dallas win. So a clean sweep there on the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Okay, then we move into the late Thursday night game. 49ers at Seattle. Battle of the NFC West. I love this fixture. The hatred between these two teams is unprecedented. DJ has gone for a 24-21 49ers win. What say you, Luke?
I don't think he's too far wrong. I think maybe 27-23 49ers.
27-23?
Mm-hmm.
No Kenneth Walker at running back for the Seattle Seahawks. I know that because he's in my main fantasy league. But they have got Zach Charbonnet. He might be able to do well. Geno Smith hasn't looked like last year's Geno Smith. Let's put that to rest. No. The 49ers, I mean,
they're humming now at the moment. I think they're
averaging over 30 points a game. Now Deebo Samuel's back, they will average more than 30 points a game. So I say the 49ers do win this game, and I'm going for 34-21 49ers.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight, going to be close. It's not going to be close at all, but 34-21 for me for 1 hour. And the last one, Black Friday's game, 8 p.m. kickoff time, UK time at 8 p.m. on a Friday night. Be able to open up crack open a few beers and boo at the Jets. They play the Dolphins, not 100%, or Pepsi Max for you. Is it at MetLife or is it at? No, it'll be at Hard Rock Stadium, won't it?
I'm actually not sure who's playing at home.
I think it's the Dolphins.
Either way, the Dolphins are winning.
Bear me a minute. Sorry, no, it's at the Jets. It's at the New York Jets.
It doesn't matter. They could play it anywhere. They could play it in.
They've got. Yeah.
It's not going to be close. I'm going to go 35-6 Dolphins. And because Tim Boyle has never really been all that good ever, I think he's kind of on the team because Rodgers likes him, because he was his backup in Green Bay as well. He wasn't a fantastic college quarterback either. And yeah, I just kind of think that I think he's going to be better than Zach Wilson, but I think you're better than Zach Wilson as well.
I mean, it's not hard. I think Blake Bortles is better than Zach Wilson, and that's we really are going down the rabbit hole with that one.
Blake Bortles got a team to an AFC championship, so little less of the disrespect there for old Blakey. But no, I on a serious note, they made the right decision moving to Tim Boyle. They should have made it sooner. Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback, but really kind of their hands are tied because they kind of pushed all the cards in on Aaron Rodgers. The Dolphins will destroy them, and I will enjoy myself watching.
So you've gone 35-6 for the Dolphins. I've gone for 30 points to 9 for the Dolphins. And DJ has gone for 38-13 Dolphins. So it's pretty much a clean sweep all the way through. It's boring. Maybe Nick might throw a spanner in the works here. Maybe he may choose the Packers over the Lions, which would be stupid. But anyway. Right. We are going to get on out of here. Luke, thank you for coming on. Obviously, DJ and Nick couldn't be with us today, but it is what it is. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Thank you to everyone that's been listening. Make sure you hit the like on the video. You smash the subscribe button while you're at it. Follow us on all our social media platforms, and you follow our podcast on Spotify as well. We will be back next week for a review of whatever the hell this game is meant to be. We could be talking one step closer to maybe Mac Jones redeeming himself, or maybe one step closer towards getting Khalid Williams or Drake Mayer, depending how the rest of the results go. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. This has been the Patriots Touchback Podcast. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, go Patriots, but embrace the tank. Peace out.